That kind of nerd. Let's start the show with comics, movies, and technology. Here we go, bringing you the segments that you're looking for, like Cape Talk, Screen to Stream, Tech Perspective, and more. Cast this nerd degree and the blockbuster. Welcome to the club, 'cause you're that kind of nerd.
Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a weekly show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, joined by Josh Burns and Brian Thornton.
What up? Oh, that's spiked hard.
Oh, yeah. Want to read what up?
What up?
You didn't have the right inflection.
I put the emphasis on the
Wrong
wrong syllable.
emphasis.
Sorry, you want to do a third one? Let's do a third.
No, it was good.
Let's collectively, together, all three of us, say what up at the same time. Just see what happens.
You want to harmonize?
I don't know. We want to harmonize. Let's just.
What up?
Oh, wow. We are not forming a barbershop quartet.
You should have gone higher.
I should have gone.
Terrible idea.
Is that what you should have?
I had the middle one.
Yeah,
okay,
you
gotcha.
should have gone higher.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. We've never
You're
rehearsed
the one
this.
who was in theater.
I
How
thought
do you not
would
know
be the
this?
one who would
We've
know how to
never
harmonize.
rehearsed this. Okay.
Why would
You
we
don't need to
rehearse it?
rehearse it.
Brian and I had it right.
It's just fucking harmony. What is wrong with you?
All right. Well, thank you so much for
gonna be
making
a
us your walk
long
around the
night.
neighborhood or drive to work.
Real long night.
It's gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun episode.
No, because I'm going to be coughing. You're going to be
Mr. Toad's
commenting.
Wild Ride.
Here's the best part. Here's the best part, Brian. You're editing, so you edit out all your coughs, and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. Or have you bought Shush yet?
No, why would I buy Shush? Why
Because
would
it's
I
a
need Shush?
$5 lifesaver.
For this exact purpose.
It's not a lifesaver. I'm good.
You should get a lifesaver. That'll probably help your throat.
I actually have.
Oh, you got a
icebreaker
lozenge.
sours.
Okay, that's good to hear. You gotta get the lozenges.
Get the phlegm going. Here we go.
I, however, am totally out of seltzer today, so I am drinking Hawaiian Punch.
I have like Dasani lime and I mix a little cranberry juice in there.
Ooh, Dasani lime and cranberry. That sounds
I
good.
have an empty can of orange La Croix.
No, I believe it's orange. La Croix.
I may get another one. Then it'll be orange La Croix.
Well, let's kick off the show talking about the world of comics. See how it's affecting TV, see how it's affecting movies, and it's probably not affecting Brian this week. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk.
How's this have anything to do with comics?
It actually doesn't. Like it's not
It
even.
has nothing to do
it's,
with it.
But
It's not even a superhero thing.
Hold
It's not
on.
based on anything.
Yes, it is. It's based on a graphic novel.
Well,
That doesn't.
sounds like
It doesn't make
That
it superhero.
qualifies
Sounds
Cape
lame.
Talk.
it does. He's right.
All right.
Ha!
Continue.
Netflix has dropped a trailer for a new original series called I'm Not Okay With This, premiering on February 26th. The best way I have to describe it is what if Juno got superpowers but wasn't pregnant? I'm Okay With This is an irreverent origin story that follows a teenage girl who's navigating the trials and tribulations of high school, all while dealing with the complexity of her family and some mysterious superpower that has begun to awaken deep in her. It's actually from the director and the EP of End of the Fucking World and two of the producers of Stranger Things. And yes, it is based off a graphic novel. I don't think this is a series for everybody, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one.
I saw the trailer. I mean, it looked cool. It just, I don't know how quickly it captivates my, you know what I mean? Like
What's the ramp up, right?
yeah, if it doesn't get pretty interesting pretty quickly, I'm probably out.
Oh, I'm not even going to bother.
Well, first off, I'm not surprised at all.
Really?
This looks like Perks of Being a Wallflower with superpowers. I fucking hated that movie.
I was thinking a more mature version of like the Secret World of Alex Mack. You know what I mean?
You're
None
both
of it-
referencing
no.
movies I've never seen.
I'm good.
The Secret World of Alex Mack was a Nickelodeon series. Back
You're a
Hard
Nickelodeon series.
Pass.
I am. You're hard passing. I'm not surprised by this at all. But Brian, this stars one of the girls from It.
Stars two of the kids from it.
Oh, that's right.
That doesn't mean I'm like all on board with it.
Well, I just figured you'd
It's
be like,
not
oh,
horror.
Probably give
I
him
mean-
I figured he'd be like, oh, well, I know these people. I give it maybe a chance.
Oh, because they're good in one genre, they must be good
I
in
thought
others.
he'd give it at least one episode. I didn't think we were starting off with a hard pass from Brian.
I'm sure
But-
they'll do other things that I can watch.
But
They're talented actors.
I agree with you, Josh. This is something that if I do watch it, it needs to really kind of maybe end the first episode with like something that really makes me want to watch the next one.
No, it's not. It's gonna fucking end with who's gonna ask her out to the big dance.
The first episode?
Oh my gosh, an apple floated. Like it's not going to be good. I'm sorry. I hate shit like this. Like I really hate shit like this.
Yeah, tell me
Well,
more.
what else is like this that you hate?
Besides Perks of Being a Wallflower,
So
Juno.
maybe something. Okay,
right.
just because you don't like Ellen Page or
no, I just
Michael
don't
Cera or
I don't
J.K.
like Michael Cera.
Simmons.
This has nothing to do with the actors. I just don't like this type of movie. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't even know how to describe the type of movie, but when I see it, I know it.
Well,
and I hate it.
it's almost like the Ladybirds and all that stuff.
Is
too.
it just
Yeah, I
like
couldn't
is it
stand
just
Lady
like the angsty shit? Or
yeah, I think that's probably it for him.
It probably is.
It's the angsty. It's the angsty coming of age tales that are
like
just.
we
no
call
no.
that the Kristen Stewart effect.
Although I saw Edge of 17 and I didn't mind it.
That's because Haley Steinfeld is amazing.
Right.
I mean, she is.
she can
Maybe she made that more palatable, but
Right.
every movie like this, I can't stand.
All right. Well, now let us turn our attention to the world of TV and movies on a larger sod. Oh, man.
The larger sods?
A larger sods. You know, like
Suds?
Suds. You know. Let's now turn our attention to the world of TV and movies in a segment that we call Screen to Stream. And I want to talk about a trailer that was dropped this week. We have
I'd like to call this section Suds and Buds.
Suds and Buds. It is
Just based on that.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
based on your mistake.
Should it be Spuds and Buds? And this way we can talk about potatoes as friends.
No, Suds and Buds means I'm taking a bath with my buds on Netflix. Still talk about the same stuff. I'm
That's
just
weird.
taking a bath while
What?
watching Netflix. I don't know. I don't take baths. I'm just guessing.
We got a trailer for Westworld Season 3, and as I do the math between the three of us, yep, Brian has not seen Season 2 of Westworld.
That's true. Yeah, I haven't watched season 2. I really enjoyed it. I just haven't watched
Now,
it.
Josh, I need your opinion of two things on this trailer.
Although
first.
this freaking trailer looks awesome.
Very nice.
So I really need to watch season 2 so I can watch this.
Josh, I need reactions to Aaron Paul, and I need your thoughts on the cover song that they put in this, because you always have good astute observations on those.
Well, "Sweet Child of Mine" is a Guns N' Roses classic. How can I not love it? And Aaron Paul, appearance of Aaron Paul. I don't even know who that guy is.
It's a new character.
Right. So he's there. I like Aaron Paul. We'll see how it plays out. I really like Tessa Thompson in this. I liked her in season 2.
Yes.
I don't have much Westwood 1 and 2 were fantastic. This is the conclusion. I'm sure there's a ton more to be revealed. I don't know.
That's my question. Is this the end? Is this the final thing? Is there no more after this?
I think so. I mean, what's her name? Evan Rachel Wood there? I don't know what her name is.
Elsa's mom? Yes.
Dolores.
She's like, this is
Dolores.
the end of the game. Welcome to the end of the game. So like, it
Right,
seems like this is it.
I know who Aaron Paul is.
Ghost Rider?
No, Aaron Paul is reprising his role from Need for Speed at the end of that movie. He drives into Westworld.
But please remember, Brian, he got to the world of Need for Speed from Breaking Bad and then transitioned into Westworld. So he's just,
I mean, either way,
just in
however you want
pigments
to
going
make it
through all over
work.
the place. I really do like the fact that we are going to be leaving we're going to be leaving Westworld and Samurai World, and we're going out into the real world. And there really seems to be a heck of a showdown going on between Maeve and Dolores. Yes. Yeah.
Are
It's
you sure?
Supposed to be, yeah.
supposed to be the real world, yeah.
Listen, I can't comment. I haven't seen season 2. I'm just saying the show is notorious for things not seeming the way they are.
Right.
Also, the fox from Ocean's 12 is in it. What the hell is
Yes.
his deal?
We don't know he's a new character as well.
Tallulah, yeah, we don't know, but he seems to be the big bad here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I have to catch up.
You should really watch season 2.
Yeah.
I think you would greatly enjoy it. But you're showing off a lot of that. But again, it really seems to be that there's going to be a huge showdown between Dolores and Maeve, and what we got AI facing AI at that point. It's This is going to be a heck of a season, man. And this has been a very interesting ride for the dystopian world views thing. So, yeah, I really hope this isn't the end. But if it is, I really need them to stick this landing and be satisfying. So, I am very interested. And we've come a long way on Westworld, where we first poo-pooed it to now being really kind of in it. And the third season.
Who poo-pooed it? Because it wasn't me.
I did.
Oh,
Josh poo-pooed it.
Carry on.
Okay. And the third season will be premiering on March 15th on HBO. I mean, this brings me to a larger question, as we've talked about several times. After Westworld being this big hit for HBO, Sunday nights at 9, what takes over that time slot? What is the big thing coming out from HBO now?
I think the answer is it doesn't matter. Whatever they put on Sunday at 9 is going to be good.
This next one falls into screen to stream, but also kind of reminds me of my youth of video games, and that is there is a documentary coming out called Pretending I'm Superman, which focuses on the Tony Hawk video game story. And while I was reading the article about the documentary, this shocked me. The original Tony Hawk came out 21 years ago.
Yeah, it was so amazing.
And it was fantastic and groundbreaking. And now I feel really old because Tony Hawk can now drink the game, not Tony Hawk himself. He can drink for a while. Were you guys into the Tony Hawk video game themselves? Is this something that really kind of resonated with you?
Pro Skater 2 is the best. Hands down. Yes.
No, at first, no, it's not. But more importantly, and I like the addition of like the cruise ship and all that into that. This is my favorite video game series of all time.
It ages well too. I mean, honestly, even if you get like an emulator or anything, it still
it didn't get great until the addition of like reverts and revert manuals, and you couldn't string together really, really insane long runs until 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think it was 3, and then Underground. Some of the Underground ones. Really
I think you might be blending some of them together. Tony Hawk 2 didn't have the cruise ship.
I think the peak is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I think that's where it peaked. I think that's when it got
Pro Skater 2 had the hangar, the school.
Yes, very.
Okay,
then
I'm talking about 3, which also had the
3.
which also had the revert.
Right.
Yes, that one.
2 was fantastic, and I was like, "How are video games going to get any better than this?" And then 3 came out. I was like, "Oh my god, they did it again!"
Yeah.
But this was always a series that got my attention.
And then it went completely downhill.
No,
really
it did not.
Everything on the 2 after 3 was not good.
When you could slow down. What was it called when you slow down your moves and go into like bullet time?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Amazing, so amazing.
I think 4 and the Underground stuff is when they started doing the stories. Like they had Bam Margera for like the Underground installments and stuff like that, and it became a little weirder.
Bam was in the older games.
Yeah, but he was driving the story, so you would have to go to Bam and do this and do that, and Bam was kind of taking you all the way.
Give me all the games. Give me Underground. Yeah, give me all of them.
So I'm really curious to maybe see the documentary. I don't know when it's actually going to be available for the plebs to see it, but the story of this, I imagine, is not as straightforward and cool as we probably perceive it to be. I'm sure there was a lot of pushback for this game because I think they kind of mentioned this in the trailer. At the time, skateboarding was not mainstream. I think this game really just helped with catapulting it into the mainstream and kind of becoming a little bit more
I don't know, man. Skateboarding was huge in the mid to late 80s. Everybody had a skateboard. Everybody wanted to be Tony Hawk. Even back then, like names like Tony Hawk and Rodney Mullen were huge. Rodney Mullen being the more of the like street style skater, and obviously Tony Hawk the vert ramp skater. But the skating was already big when the game came out. Like Bam Margera and the Westchester Boys were already doing CKY videos. Skateboarding was already big.
Okay, so this was the thing, though, that made it a little bit bigger for me. I think the other part that I really liked about these games, too, was the soundtrack. These games
was amazing.
Great freaking soundtracks.
Yep.
So much so that if I hear them now, I go back and think about the memories I have, and I remember I remember the game. Like, I'd be like, oh man, I remember when I pulled off that trick, or man, I finally beat that level, or the time I would spend to create my own skater character. It was so much fun, and I'm real glad to see that they're kind of maybe breaking down the process. But my question is, when was the last time we had a good Tony Hawk game or a good skateboarder game? Was it Skate from EA?
No, Skate sucked.
Was it? All right, I never played it. Skate
was terrible. It was whatever the last Tony Hawk game was. It was the last good one. There haven't been anything that have done anything like that.
In other news, I mean, Tony Hawk is actually pretty funny on Twitter. Have you seen some of his tweets?
Oh yeah. People going like, this guy looks a lot like Tony Hawk. He's like,
one of them is legit TSA agent checking my ID. Hawk like the skateboarder, Tony Hawk? Yeah, exactly. Her. Cool. I wonder what he's up to these days.
My favorite was
this.
He went to go rent a car somewhere, and he showed up, and he was like, I'm here to get my car. Like, oh my God, I canceled the reservation. Why? Well, I thought someone was playing a joke on us. I didn't think Tony Hawk was going to show up. He's like,
what is I? Here I am. Skateboard everywhere?
Right. Here I am. I need a car. Very interesting. I highly recommend you check out the trailer for the documentary. But more importantly, go dig out your PlayStation or your N64 and go play some Tony Hawk. That game still holds up, man. All right, we also got a little bit of streaming news. This one is in regards to HBO Max, which, man, I still have a hard time understanding what this service is. But they have announced that there is going to be a Friends reunion coming to HBO Max. It will not be a scripted thing. It will be just the cast, so not the characters coming back. So kind of curious what you guys think about this. Is this, again, I know Friends is going to be exclusively on HBO Max. Is this going to also help get those first initial subscribers and with something new and something big coming out the gate?
This is like, people ages, call it 34 to 50, right? I mean, this is like that's the wheelhouse for this.
I think
I got a ton of friends who've watched this entire series a bunch of times. I haven't even seen all of the original. I haven't seen it.
I've
seen most.
I would widen your age bracket a little bit more to a little bit younger. It's just like people who have discovered The Office that are like in their late teens now. Who are like, I've watched it 9 times. I think Friends is also that, but I don't think it's the same overlap. So I would say maybe 19 to what you said, like 86 or something.
19?
Yes. It was very, very big on Netflix.
Brian,
it was a
help.
Huge part of Netflix's draw.
Help with what?
Well, he said widen your age range a little bit. Mine was like 32 to like 50, 34 to 50. I said 34 to 50. I'd go as low as maybe 30. But 19? Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
19-year-old people right now are watching Friends?
Yes.
It was one of Netflix's most streamed shows by younger kids.
They paid $100 million to keep it on for another year.
I
It was
cannot believe that.
insanely popular on Netflix.
There's no way 19-year-olds even understand what's happening on Friends.
Listen, they just want someone to be there for them.
I mean, the show ended when they were 3 years old. There's no way.
Yeah, it was a really big deal when it left Netflix, and I don't think it was people Brian and I's age yelling at Netflix, you can't keep Friends. I think it was people like my little brother's age doing that.
I mean, this show started when I was 14. I didn't watch it until I was older.
10 seasons. It ran from 94 to 2004. I mean, this thing dominated NBC, and yeah, I didn't really watch it until it was on. I think it was TBS initially doing some of like the reruns. And
then, sure.
And then Netflix, I watched it once, and then I also have very strong feelings about Friends, so I'm okay with this going to a service I'm never going to watch. I'm not missing Friends at all.
I mean, I rewatched most of the series. Like, I think I rewatched the first 6 seasons plus maybe a couple years ago. But like, it's incredibly dated. Like,
oh yes.
And even from like a social. Like, I don't see how any of this is relevant.
Still relevant. Still, I get that. All right, I do agree with you on that. That is my main problem with the show, is that it really is a product of the '90s, early 2000s, and it could stop there. But it's been 16 years since it's been off the air, and I don't think we've ever have we ever had a reunion between them, like an official Friends reunion?
No, because a lot of them downright refuse to do one for a very long time.
Right, so I wonder how much money AT&T is throwing at them to come and do this. Like, that's the part that, right. Hey, I know you already get like huge residual checks for this show, and you got paid $1 million per episode the last like 2 or 3 seasons. But please, everyone, come on back and do it. So they're coming back, and I think that is the ploy to get people to go to HBO Max. So knowing how people feel about the show, Josh, knowing how long has been on the show on the air, Brian, do you think this is enough? Having a special exclusively on HBO Max to drive subscribers to pay them money continuously to watch?
We've already talked about HBO Max being the same price as like HBO Now, so it's not like people aren't just going to have it anyway.
I guess you're right.
Like, it's not, if you're a current HBO subscriber, you're just going to convert or whatever. I don't even know what you need to do.
They still haven't told us, man.
It's right. It's this whole thing where I've been told, no, it's not the same, but it is the same, but it's not the same.
Right.
But it's more, but it's the same.
It's more, but it is the same, but it's also different.
It's more of the same and different too.
Just don't get it.
So, yeah, I mean, is it going to get new subscribers? No, I don't think so.
I think it'll get some new subscribers.
I think this will take some people who don't have HBO and be like, oh, I want Friends.
I most certainly think it's going to take some people who don't have HBO.
And Friends as your reason to get HBO?
Dude,
yes.
Come on.
$100 million from Netflix.
I don't think you realize the impact this show has.
It's huge.
Clearly, I don't understand the impact this show has.
So we shall see. So I had the pleasure to see the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie the other day, and I contributed apparently to the very good news for video game movies that this movie is cleaning up in the box office right now. I think that's even overtook Harley Quinn and all the fancy Birds of Prey title that goes along with it.
It's Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But if you go Google it on Fandango or something to buy tickets, it's Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. So enjoy that. Anyway, it made $57 million in its opening weekend, which beat the Detective Pikachu $54.3 million movie on there. And this is, I think these two movies together are successfully breaking the paradigm that if you are a video game, you are just doomed to bad reviews and shit movies. These two have really tried to kind of turn the tide and make it a little bit more narrative driven, but just the fact that it got those numbers and that we seem to be seeing a trend of getting better video game movies. What do you guys think about just the numbers and the rankings of that?
I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet, but it is nice to start seeing video game acquired properties being done right and respectfully, I guess.
I'm taking like an average of $12 a ticket and saying that I can't believe almost 5 million people went to see this movie.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
I'm not surprised at all. We just talked about huge 90s nostalgia with Friends. This is the 90th movies that could ever 90s.
Right,
like,
and
everybody, you want to talk about people who are 30, they're taking their kids to go see this.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's
all right. I'll
huge
give you that.
business.
I never owned a Sega Genesis. I don't care at all about this.
Oh, okay. Well, that's.
Well,
I mean, that's part. No, it's true.
I feel sad for you, son.
You shouldn't. Sega sucks.
I got 99 problems, but not having a Genesis is not one of them.
Yeah.
No, Genesis sucked.
So
Genesis did not suck.
The Genesis was a really good console.
It was a great console.
Sega CD sucked. Genesis
Sucked
was
in
Dreamcast
comparison
sucked.
to Super Nintendo.
I would put them neck and neck. They both did some really great things differently.
I think Super Nintendo had a better game library. However, I do think that the games that were great on Sega were really good.
Crappy.
Well, it has a
controller. Crappy controller.
No,
Crappy
controller
everything.
was fine.
Controller sucked.
Controller was the same shape
Super
as the
Nintendo's
Super
controller
Nintendo
sucked.
one.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo controller was awesome.
Okay, Josh is Super Nintendo for life. We get it. Fuck Sega. They're basically a little bit of Nintendo anyway. That's the only way they can release a Sonic game is on Nintendo.
Well, because Sega doesn't do consoles anymore.
Right.
They release it on all the consoles.
But back to the movie.
Anyway, back to this. I mean, yeah, for like decades, freaking video game movies have just been like lazy and terrible. So it's nice. It's nice to see, like, I enjoyed Detective Pikachu. I'm expecting to enjoy this. I'm enjoying like what Netflix has done with The Witcher. Like, I'm really hoping that this trend of good video games turned movie/televisions continues.
Right. Well, I think this goes into the pantheon of there. So we just talked about Detective Pikachu. Now we have Sonic. Lara Croft Tomb Raider was pretty well received.
Oh yeah, Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander.
And
I love that movie.
A lot of people like the Angry Birds movie. So I mean, like those are.
I don't trust.
Listen. It has a good ranking. I'm just saying people like it. I'm not saying it was a good movie because then we have Warcraft that we can throw in there, and then we can all balance out the scales again.
No, I think Warcraft was the turning point. I think Warcraft was trash, but a lot of the stuff that they've done since then has been better. Warcraft was awful.
But Brian, I think the other point is this. This movie, as we know, was strapped with the fact that there was a terrible character design, and they went back and redid it because the fans were angry, right? And it's fan service, and the fact that that we fans showed up for $57 million opening weekend validates the fact that they went through all the reshoots and did all the work to fix the character. And that's what we said we needed to do. That if we're going to demand that a movie studio change something, we as fans have to show up and give them our money to validate the fact that they should listen to us.
Agreed.
So obviously, Brian and I are going to talk about this in detail on a spoiler cast coming up in a couple weeks. So this way we can get into the movie itself and talk about it. But definitely wanted to mention it here because this thing's breaking some records, and that's good news for the nerds. All right,
let's hear it for the nerds.
Let's hear it for the nerds.
There you go.
I gotcha. All right, let's now turn our attention to, oh my gosh, it's my favorite hobby in the world, where I go around the internet, I find the weird, I find the obscure, and I ask these two yahoos for their tech perspective. We have talked so much about the need for the Baby Yoda merch, and Disney decided to just hit us with a ton of merch. And I think the weirdest one of all was a Baby Yoda, although they don't call it that, operation game, which is
That's
just
not weird.
weird.
That's awesome. Do
Look
you
at the
remove
box.
a frog from its stomach?
Look at the box. It's weird, Brian. Check the show
seen
notes.
the box. Do you remove a frog from its stomach? Answer my question.
I don't have the box up in front of me. I just lost
Well,
it.
get it up in front of you and answer my question.
Well, I'll give you the link so that way.
I have the link. I'm looking at it. I just don't feel like clicking on it.
Well, that means you're not really looking at the link. You're looking.
No, I am in fact looking at the link. I just haven't clicked on the link.
No, you do not pull a frog out of Baby Yoda's stomach.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a missed opportunity, Disney.
I think it's an operation game, but all you're doing is extracting midichlorians.
More importantly, I received a text message from my mother today to tell me, hey, Brian, Baby Yoda merch is available for pre-order on Disney. You might want to get some. It could be a Tickle Me Elmo situation. To which I said, you are absolutely right, Mother. And I pre-ordered the Mattel vinyl Baby Yoda plushie.
It's adorable and everything that you want it to be.
It looks freaking adorable. The only other thing that I'm questioning whether or not I should pre-order is the animatronic for $60.
That one looks incredible.
Yeah. I don't know if I can justify $60
For what?
For the child.
It's an animatronic Baby Yoda thing. It when you it's got 25 sounds and motion combinations, including.
It is Furby, but with Baby Yoda.
There you go. Thank you. But there's some good Funko stuff on there. There's a couple T-shirts. There's a Build-A-Bear one in there because we all know me and Build-A-Bear. Me, Build-A-Bear, Pablo Escobar. Those are the two things that I always look for when I go around the internet. But there seems to be a lot of cool things in here, and I just need it all to hit the store so I can look at it and buy it and say it's for my kids, but it's really for me.
You remove a stormtrooper helmet and what looks like a explosive device of some kind.
But it's not. So it's not like Operation where the Operation Man is there.
You're not even removing it from him. You're removing it from his cradle.
Right, or like he's
and you do remove a frog from his hand,
but not from him. It's not like
from his hand.
It's not like Operation Man where you're pulling things out of him.
It's in his hand. You're taking the frog out of his hand.
But it's not his hand. His hand
It's right
his hand is
there.
up. No, his hand is up and the hole is above his hand. It's not in his hand.
It's close enough.
It's
Close enough to his hand.
That's not in my hand. It's close, but it's not in my hand. Anything on here tickle your fancy, Josh, at all?
My fancy remains untickled.
Now, this is the best part. We get to lose Brian for about, 7 or 8 minutes here because it's time to talk a little bit about the iPhone. There is a story here in Bloomberg, which I thought was kind of interesting, Josh, that Apple is looking to let users switch their default apps for their rivals. For example, if you like Spotify to be your main music player, you can. If you want to make Gmail your default email provider, you totally can now. Changing things up a little bit, and they're going to be adding Spotify and Pandora to the HomePod. I don't use Safari on my iPhone anymore. I use a third-party web browser for browsing the web called Brave.
Because you don't like when all your devices sync up, or
no, it's still all synced up. Or how about this? The mail client, Josh, we can agree on iOS is garbage.
Nope, love it.
So do me a favor.
No,
If you love it so much, I want you to open up an email. Right, just open up any email that you have, and then look at the bottom right of the actual email, and there are two icons there: a trash can and an arrow. Right. So that should mean I should be able to delete it or reply to it. Right. Now press reply. Press the reply arrow. Oh, so now I can reply, forward, archive, flag, mark as read, move to import. That's way too many things to be put in one button. There should be a bunch of those down there.
No, it's not.
Yes, there is. There should be a bunch of those. And not only do I feel that way, Apple feels that way. They're going to change that in iOS 13.4.
I don't want them to change it.
The Mail app is garbage. It's terrible. And for other people, they don't like Apple Maps. They like Google or they like Waze.
Well, that's ridiculous.
So changing that stuff to the default is great. But here's the part that I think is actually really good about this, Josh. And maybe you can agree with me on this. The problem with the Apple main apps, the podcast app, the Mail app, Safari, iMessage, is that in order to get them to be updated or do something new, you have to wait for a whole new OS release. That's when they make changes. That could be a point release, but it's mainly from 12 to 13, 13 to 14, stuff like that. Maybe breaking this out and allowing them to update the Mail app whenever the hell they have an update ready, like every other app in the App Store does, could make those native apps better, and therefore people would not want to replace them. The need to replace them would go away.
I just learned how to use them. And then I'm good.
Right, but the podcast app, for example, is not. I'll be honest, is not a really good podcast player. I don't like it.
What do you mean?
Well, you know how Apple Music navigation is garbage. Love Apple Music as its native, but the navigation of Apple Music is terrible.
I disagree.
Have you used any other music player?
But not recently.
Okay, so you should try them out, and by comparison, you'll realize how bad it is.
I don't want to try them out. I've learned how to use Apple Music really well.
As have I, but if you play around with Spotify, it's way more intuitive.
I don't want to play around with Spotify. Okay. I use Apple Music.
So the podcast app too, I don't like the way that they format show notes.
I've tried Downcast. I've tried Podbean.
That's fine. I get that. Okay. I get that you have mastered these apps. You are a power user of the iPhone. You and I are both power users of the iPhone. However, I even think some of the people listening to this show are not power users to the iPhone and
I think you should stop dickering around with your phone. Just use the apps, man.
I do.
No, you're using all kinds of other stuff.
They're just not good. All right, we can agree that more people use Spotify than Apple Music, even iPhone owners, correct? That is a fact. Right?
I don't know if it is a fact.
There are more paid subscribers to Spotify than Apple Music.
You're saying there are people that own iPhone that use Spotify instead?
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Many people. Yes, you always believe native is better. That is your...
It is better.
Right. Okay, but I'm here to tell you it's not. And I think maybe this could kind of help out the iPhone a little bit by loosening this and maybe trying to make their apps themselves a little bit better.
Meh.
If they allow other people to become the main app and give people choice, they have to make their app better to make them the primary choice, right? Is that not like at least a fundamental business thing we can say? If you let other people into your space, you have to be better. The competition at least trying to make you a little bit better and you have to be more agile.
I understand what you're saying. I just don't I would never set, say, Chrome as my default browser It just doesn't make any sense to me.
What's your default browser on your computer?
Safari?
Okay. And how do you use the mail app on your Mac to check your email?
I have. I mean, my everything for like work it's a G Suite, and I use Safari.
Okay. So
for my G Suite, I use Safari.
Right. Okay. Why not use the mail app? Because you can put G Suite into the mail app.
You can, except when you use like as many templates and stuff as I do, you end up in the mail app. The easiest way to do templates in the mail app is to create signatures.
Right.
And then just pop them in. But I use a mail merge that draws. Well, it's not. I can't use the mail app for a mail
merge because it doesn't have that functionality.
It's a Chrome. It's a Chrome plugin.
Right.
So I can't use it.
This is what I'm saying. There are features and things that Apple doesn't do well, and I think as Apple people as we are.
Well, yeah, but we should, Gmail doesn't do it well either. We should plug in.
Right. But the fact that the mail app can't even do the plug. What I'm saying is this is good news. I don't think this is something that we would be upset about. I would love to see Apple apps get better, and I think this would drive Apple apps to get better.
They get better every year. I'm still over here going, all right. You're bitching about the 2 buttons, and I'm going, no, everything's still there.
But Apple themselves is gonna fix it, but they can't.
I don't know. It looks pretty simple right now. It's right there. If I want to take an action to an email, I click the action button. They're all there. It looks just like, Control Center. Like it's the exact same layout as if I would long press on anything.
I'm sending you a photo.
Here.
Look at the picture.
I understand, but why do I need 4 buttons when 2 is fine?
Here's my question, right? I think the one on the right is a better layout, and I think most people would see that as a clearer way to use the app.
I see the one on the left looks very clean, and I want it.
But there's all that wasted space on the left.
I don't care.
All right. Well, fine. I'm curious to hear
we made a ton of progress here, and clearly Josh has changed his opinions.
Oh, Brian, your return back to this podcast couldn't be any bit more on point when my defeatist attitude just goes, well, fine, be it as it may. All right. Well, I need a companion or someone who at least can see what I'm saying. At least just make me feel like I'm not a crazy person taking crazy pills. So if you want to just reach out to me, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Well, listener, thank you so much for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work. Do us a favor. Go ahead and check out our Patreon. We have some fantastic retro reviews this month. We have The Phantom, Lost in Space, and we are going to be recording one for Playing with Fire, the John Cena. It's not a retro review. Okay. It's a spoiler cast. Thank you, Brian, for Playing with Fire, starring John Cena. Woohoo, man. What a movie that is going to be. So go to patreon.com/thatkindofnerd. Check it out. Also, go to ratethispodcast.com/thatkindofnerd. Throw us a 5-star review. It means the world to us. And if you don't know how to review a podcast, this will guide you through it. Simple and easy. ratethispodcast.com/thatkindofnerd. So thank you so much, and we will talk to you next week.
Well, welcome to the club, because you are that kind of nerd.
Alrighty.
What on earth was that?
What the fuck was that
Jesus
noise?
Christ.
What was that? It sounds like you swallowed a frog.
Just go clear my throat.
That is not how you clear your throat.
I mean, that's how I clear my throat. Is that not
No.
Is that not how you non-MK Ultra people clear throats? Is that not how that works?
It's like
That's not MK Ultra.
Too large piece of raw fish hitting your epiglottis. That's the
epiglottis.
That's a great. I love that word. All right.
You're the worst.
Worried that you're going to aspirate a giant piece of raw fish now.
Well, actually, hold on. By the time that we release this, will this be out? No.
I don't know.
No.
When's it coming out?
It's coming out the 26th, so no.
No, 26th is a Wednesday.
Okay. Tease. Alrighty. That's all I had for
now.
Talk.
You know how to freaking harmonize.
I'm sorry. Is that what you wanted to hear?
No, I just hate
Okay.
you. Speaking of which, let's talk about bath bombs. What the hell's up with that?
I don't know. But or the people that cut soap. What the fuck is up with that? People get bath bombs and then cut them and then shave them. Oh my god, those people are fucking weird.
But what do they do with it?
It's like
Do
an
they,
ASMR.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yes.
Well, that's art.
They get bath bombs, right? Then they take a knife and they like slowly cut and shave off the bath bomb.
Why-
And it's a
why-
very ASMR-y thing.
Why?
ASMR? Are you familiar with ASMR? My hands
Yes.
are doing
Yes.
gestures that have no. I'm juggling. I'm juggling things.
There's
I
a
don't
whole
know.
shit ton of stingers so far, just FYI.
I don't know why, but it's a pleasing thing to ASMR people. All right, well, let's put this car back on the road here. So Brian and I are planning to see
Randomly.
Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Where's the blah?
It just is, man. Just let it happen, man. Just go with it.
No,
dude.
I don't want to let it happen. You do weird shit.
Right?
Stop.
I'm a boat that won't start, man.